15-20 minute mark.
Yeah.
Starting out here, it's going to be New Repugnancy. So let's start up in the top right hand side. The blue player, it is BlysK.
And in the bottom left, in the green trunks, it is Azure.
And
we haven't seen this map tonight, have we?
No, we haven't actually. It's been a lot of the new maps. Definitely curious to see, because you mentioned how, both players have, macroed up. Azure definitely has had a tendency. I remember when Mass Tank TVP came in as like, I'm going to go bio tank and just like, I'm done with Protoss timing attacks. Like you're never going to be able to take me out of this game, but it's a very slow to get across the map style. Seether was doing it for a while, and I felt like Azure kind of, followed Seether's lead there, or at least it felt that way in the region. And he was very happy to just kind of mass up lots of tanks and go for one big gigantic siege tank bio push. So definitely, yeah, maybe Azure is the one who wouldn't mind that. He's gone Barracks Gas, going for an SCV scout. And if there's any threat of anything disrupting his natural, I think we'll see the early bunker on the low ground. So the kind of meta build for Terran players at the moment who want to shut down the chances of the Protoss messing with their build order, it's basically get the bunker on the low ground to cover your command center, go for a Raven and tanks, and at least one or two tanks for safety. Where you go from there kind of varies player to player. We might often see like a single Widow mine drop, a medevac with 2 or 3 mines, a single Liberator poking across, maybe an 8 Marine drop, but it's all kind of not very fast. The priority is more on the defensive focus for the Terran. So getting up that bunker, getting up the tanks, and only really kind of poking at the Protoss ever so softly. Wondering if Azure is going to try that sort of style.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think probably the most intense thing I've seen early game from a Terran against a Protoss is where they do they run the Hellions in at the same time they do a mine drop. And typically that's not game ending. Most players hopefully don't take too much damage from that. This SCV's cutting it close. All right, there we go. Get some help from his Marine buddies. But yeah, so it's obviously looking pretty standard here in Terran Town. BlysK just now starting to drop a bit of tech. He's gone for his Twilight Camps right up the back there.
And because this was reactor first, no Reaper from Azure, relying on the SCV scout, and instead getting out these Marines early enough that they can actually just match the gateway units as they come across this map. So always, of course, 3 Marines is the magic number to soundly beat an Adept in a fight. 4 Marines, and you won't even lose a single Marine if that Adept doesn't micro its way out of that fight very quickly. So Azure's got a good opening, and swapping the factory over onto that reactor, Starport is now down, and Hellions starting up. So, we might actually see these Marines walk across this map, join up with the 2 Hellions, or even the 3rd and 4th Hellion, and do a nice little assault on BlysK's natural.
Yeah, BlysK is looking like he's playing pretty standard. Blink, probably follow up with the Robo. And this leads often into that like 3-base slower play, build up that force, get charged, Immortals, and build up that little gateway robo ball that you end up with. So he's got to be wary of this attack. He's not really going to have that many units early on. And as you pointed out, Azure's going to be coming in with a fair few Marines and a couple of Hellions in tow.
Yeah, it's a scary little timing attack here from Azure. These Marines doing some good damage so far. The Hellions kind of dilly-dallying a little bit. They want to go after the probes, of course. The splash damage that the Hellions offer towards the probes is really where their power comes from. A shield battery just not quite done in time. And because of that, those Adepts go down. Quite a few probes. 3 of those go down. And the Hellion's going to dart into the main base just when you think it's done.
Yeah, lucky it's only 2, so they can't totally demolish this, but oh god, please don't line them up like that. He gets in, and he's gonna get a fair few more workers, and suddenly this went from like okay damage to pretty damn good damage. 9 probes going down. Epic. Man, that went pretty well.
Yeah, Depths went down there as well, remember, and a bit of mining. That shield battery, if it was up a bit earlier, it would have been fine. Blink's done, so there is a chance for counter pressure, but whenever the Terrans are ahead in workers, the Terran player feels very happy about that. That being said, Banshee's going to go out at home. The first tank only now about to pop. Azure very low on units and going up to a third command center. He's got to repair this bunker very quickly if BlysK commits.
Yeah, but that tank will come out just in the nick of time. He's got to siege that up there on the ledge and get some shots off here. The nice thing about this is that with the Banshee going across the map, there's not really any defense there at home for it. And the Observer, at least one of them's here. Where's the other one? Yeah, they're both actually heading across the map. So there's going to be nothing to see a cloaked Banshee at home.
I mean, that tank, yeah, that was a very dangerous position from Azure having that so far forward. But the Banshee's going to hit on the other side of the map. Stalker's warping in, but there's no Observer there right now. And these Stalkers microing away in the main base, doing a good job from BlysK. They have to take out that siege tank. They are going to be able to get it. They got to focus fire it. Good micro here from BlysK. Keeps 4 of those Stalkers alive. But back at home, his mineral line just getting ravaged. And he already was behind an economy in this game. He can't afford so many extra worker losses.
Oh my god, he barely gets out with that Banshee as well. The one at home also surviving after taking a few hits from those Stalkers. He's just repairing that up now. So he successfully deflects at home. 19 workers killed by Azure so far in this game. 38 probes, 250 SCVs. So Azure's still looking pretty good. Now BlysK has gone for a third base. It's just finishing up behind this. So hopefully that'll help him get to the worker count that he wants. But he's certainly looking towards a longer game here, getting that double forge and moving into the charge lot upgrade.
Yep, gonna try to go up to that. I definitely think a low gas style is a path to coming back, right? You look at how this early game's gone and you say, okay, well, the Terran has given up a lot of minerals to make this damage happen, right? Yeah, there's a third command center, but the stim's just starting. The +1 attack, the +1 armor just starting now. As the Protoss player, you kind of know you have at least a little bit of a window of safety. Like, these Stalkers can keep you alive for about 2 minutes, right? So in the meantime, it's got to be like non-stop chrono boost probes on that third base, try to get these upgrades out, and then just mass zealots, and hopefully you can swamp one attack. Blink on the medevac, snipe them down, get the zealots on top. And of course, you know, you won't have any follow-up tech. You definitely won't have any long game potential. But if you can shut down one push, you buy yourself enough time to go for that next stage. The Stalkers here going to poke around, going to start things off. It's important to get every bit of value out of this that BlysK can.
Oh no! Double Banshee power! He just runs those probes straight away. He's like, nope, not dealing with that. But he just moves straight on into the main. And with the 2 Banshees, he can rack up the kills like crazy here. The Stalkers are still walking home. And he just doesn't have anything. Now that he's warping in, he'll be finally able to chase these down a little bit. But they should be able to get out just fine. And these Banshees have been worth their weight in gold so far. They've just done a fantastic job.
Yeah, BlysK needed to take a risk here to get back in this game, but that was not the correct risk. Knowing but there were Banshees still alive on the map, I mean, definitely maybe he was afraid of them joining up with the Marines and tanks for a frontal push, wanted to slow that down. I guess that really is the gamble that BlysK said. He said, okay, you got to go home to repair. If I pressure with the Stalkers, I can wear down your push. Let's just cross our fingers the Banshees aren't still out on the map or coming in for another run by him. Yeah, he got the wrong flip of the coin there, you know, was hoping for heads, got tails, and loses another 11 workers in total. That brings it up to 30 workers killed this game. And at this point, the numbers are just absolutely brutal. Azure's got no pressure to move out. Every time he goes in with the Banshees, he's like, cool, I'm even further ahead economically. Like, I don't need to move out. And BlysK is basically just like banking on his army coming out into the middle, and kind of move commanding, not sieging the tanks, accidentally getting the Marines force fielded, that sort of thing. Because right now the upgrade's getting way too far ahead for Azure. The tank and Marine count just getting massively out of control.
Yeah, I do love that he's splitting his forces here, but unfortunately Azure's thought of that. He's got a missile turret at his natural as well. Bad time for him to move over though. He's just got to shift back up towards that third location, find himself a good position. Nice blink by BlysK. He takes out one of the tanks immediately. Then he's got to back out of there. It's a bit too much firepower for him to work with. 10 SCVs going down in the background. I honestly thought this would get shut down a little bit more easily, but BlysK is actually finally getting some work done here. Look at this. Oh my god, he needs to stop fighting with the SCVs.
Tanks getting caught out at the front as well. The Observer doing a good job. Zealots are in the main. If they actually get on the SCVs, oh my. It's kind of a shame they're going for the barracks there. They are going to now go for the SCVs in that main base. And Azure has so many tools right now, but not getting his pieces in the right position.
Mm, this is a tricky one. Man, that's what a time to lag when you've got 24 SCVs killed. Oh no, Zio,
Yeah.
please. Please respond. We'll give him a sec to recover here, but things have changed real quick here with that War Prism attack. He's done a phenomenal amount of damage, and he should rack up another like 5 to 10 kills in that main base because Zio's busy elsewhere. He's still at his third base, so hopefully he'll reconnect soon, although I'm not sure he'd be too keen to at this point.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting turn of events. I feel like there's so many units on the map, but Azure kind of just getting outmaneuvered by the inferior army. So some good backstab tactics, and unfortunately, I believe we've just I think Azure may be connected through a rusty tin can right now because he just keeps on freezing up and stuff. So the Aussie internet striking once again, no doubt there. So we're just gonna have to wait, of course, for his internet issues to resolve quickly. But definitely a good series so far for the Australian Terran. He's been just kind of very decisive with his opening build order, kind of moving forwards through this map. Looks like we may need to recover the game. Thankfully, it's not 2010, 2011, where we would have to replay the map.
Yeah. We'll give him a minute to get sorted out, guys. We'll regame that and complete the action. So he was going to be dropped right in the thick of cleaning up that mess in his main too. That's what a wonderful comeback too for him. That's a little bit unfortunate.
Oh, it's definitely a weird position. Often we restart those, and you like to restart a few seconds before because the issues kind of usually have kicked in 10 seconds before that or something. The player can't pause because their computer's just kind of hanging. But definitely a nice opening. I like that Marine Hellion pressure. I think it's definitely something where if BlysK holds the early game, you get really far ahead because building a reactor first, investing in 6 Marines and then 4 Hellions, like that's just a ton of minerals. And this is kind of the dichotomy of Terran builds we see, where Terran sometimes kind of techs up, gets their fancy units out early, maybe a Cyclone, a Raven, siege tanks. And those builds very defensively oriented. But when you look at these aggressive builds, it almost always comes off the reacted factory where you're dumping an insane amount of minerals into either non-stop Widow Mines or non-stop Hellion production units, which pump out very quickly and allow you to kind of do a surprising attack. But if it whiffs, it doesn't look that good. But this game, that looked fantastic. And then we've seen, like 2 or 3 times Stalkers move out, come across the map, and as they arrive at the Terran base, 1 or 2 Banshees fly in and just murder the mineral line. So things not going well for BlysK in this game so far.
No, but he may have found the way to recover here, finally getting a good amount of SCV kills. I guess it's a sticky situation for Azure because he's got nowhere to go. Like, he had the army in his third base. He had Zealots in both his main and natural. So he actually resolved just to fight the Zealots with the SCVs, which also is a bad option. So caught between a rock and a hard place there. But we'll have to see where they're at when the dust settles because, I mean, Azure has lost a really hefty amount of workers at this point. He was ahead, but I think that lead's definitely going to be pulled back now that BlysK has been sitting on 3 Nexuses. I'm not sure he lost anything too key from his army either. I think he kind of got in and out. We'll check when we recover the game. But if he got out of there with his Immortals intact, for example, he's still going to be looking pretty good because he doesn't have to remake that, whereas Azure's kind of got to get his economy back in order before he heads out. And he did lose a couple of tanks to the snipes of BlysK as well so far. So all in all, BlysK has actually done a pretty good job at regaining some footing here in this map.
Yeah, this is going to be really odd. And I kind of feel like we'll obviously see the numbers in a second. Like maybe there's just so many Marines, Azure just kind of, goes, that went bad, stims across the map, and there's like 5 Marines for each Zealot, and it doesn't matter. But either way, very, very good opening. And it's good to see BlysK kind of, when he's down and out and really in a pretty much I don't know, it's like a 5% win position maybe at best. Comes in with the multi-pronged zealot drop, poking in at the front, kind of threatening, getting an overreaction, pulling back in and getting the tank snipes. These are all really cool maneuvers, and that kind of shows BlysK's experience as a player. He is a player who has played at multiple Premier events, big international kind of stage experience in the past, competing back in kind of 2013, 2012, 2014 era. So he's got that experience and hopefully can bring that in. I believe, I mean, if just on the point with the unpause, we'll unpause it probably like a couple of seconds before. So it's not like there would be any huge tell or anything. Usually the players will agree with the admin on the exact moment. But it feels like they managed to pause it pretty quickly. So no big misplay there.
Yeah, we just make sure we get agreement on what's going to happen. And we're just about to load back in. So the action will resume shortly. And hopefully there's a bit more left of this game. This is only game 1, right? Between Azure and BlysK. I'm not imagining that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it is, right? I often fade in and out, like sometimes with the overall series as well, where like a game goes on, and especially when you kind of get stages in a game and then a recover replay, it's like very easy to lose track. But this is the only opening we've seen so far. Good. So the recover is now underway. The timing has been discovered, agreed upon by the players and the admins at the fair point to, of course, recover that game and continue. This is not 2012, I think it was. There was like the GSTL finals played live, I think it was, at BlizzCon. It was like Marine King versus someone versus Bomber or something, and then like the game dropped, and everyone's like, "This guy had the advantage."
Startail.
Like Bomber was way ahead, and they just got like a fresh game, and Marine King won. It was like, "Oh no!"
I thought it was a Protoss. I can remember I was a huge Marine King fan.
Maybe it was like Ace.
Because he was microing his last 5 Marines back from a Colossus, and they somehow reasoned that no, because if he just micros it just right, he could have taken out the Colossus and the remaining forces of the Protoss and all this nonsense. It's just the most ridiculous decision ever.
He could float his barracks to the corner of the map. You never know. So
he could force a draw. It's totally possible from this point.
Thankfully, the technology is here now, and of course, technology is the vehicle of esports. And what a vehicle it is! We're going to hop back into this game right here as the action's going on. The Zealots in the mineral line, and things are getting out of control. Good quick SCV pull there by Azure. Has, of course, had a moment to calm his nerves. Oh, one Zealot left in the mineral line, still going ham.
Alright, those Marines were actually a lot closer than I thought they were. I thought he was still completely in the third base, which would have been a disaster. He would have lost a lot more. This Banshee still staying alive. Was only picking away at that pylon, unfortunately, so not racking up any more kills at the moment. But as the dust settles, we have 46 SCVs, 262 probes, and BlysK still looking fairly strong. He's got some high Templars in the mix, and 4 Immortals. Does he actually have Storm yet, though?
Yeah, Storm actually is done. That's potentially the saving grace, because right now we have 8 Zealots versus 51 Marines, and I'm not that good at maths, but that's not good maths for Terran. That's one thing I can say. That's really bad maths for Terran, for the Protoss player. Sorry, the Zealots are not going to be able to take that fight. It's all about the Storm. Tanks in the middle again. Those are his last tanks. The tank count completely gone. Twice, a little group of siege tanks gets caught on their own, and I mean, there's no Ghost now at these high Templar. I mean, BlysK is threatening with what is really a far inferior army if you don't count Storm. But if those Storms land, then he's okay.
They're pretty decent, but that's it. That's all he has. And this is still a huge amount of DPS, so BlysK does have to get out of there. He's going to lose that Immortal too.
He's counterattacking with 2 Immortals. What is the... How? Those are meant to be Zealots. Undoubtedly, that was meant to be a Zealot counterattack, and some misclicks happened. Oh, it's a real shame those 2 Immortals weren't in the fight there to help. Really needs to get more High Templar up, does BlysK. It's a shame that he committed to that fight, because choke points are his friend. Anytime he's running away from the Terran army, the Terran's going to eat horrendous storms if he tries to chase him down. So BlysK being out of the map was really good, but as soon as Azure said, hey, let's fight, I'm going to spread out in a big arc, BlysK needed to pull back through the choke point, so he overextended there. And Azure picking up his army. The Observer barely catches a glimpse of it, but I don't know how much he realizes about this Doom Drop going towards the main. That is a ton of Marines working their way around the top side.
No.
BlysK doesn't seem to realize. He sees like a tank and a Marine. He thinks the army's gone to the southern side of the map. The scan on the south is a fake. It's to make it look like he wants to push in here. BlysK, he's bought it. Oh no. That Doom Drop's going to devastate him.
Hook, line, and sinker. In he comes. And he's got free reign over these structures, over that mineral line. He could stim into that main mineral line.
Storm drop, maybe. Ooh, we're going to see some storms go down. But he drops into the Marines, and the Prism and the High Templar go down. A little bit of miss micro there from BlysK, and not quite able to shut down that push. Even though he pushes it away, 9 probes go down, the High Templar go down, and at the end of it, you've got BlysK still in the game, but he's down 2 upgrades and 3-3 well underway. Azure has a 4th base advantage. I mean, Azure still has so much space in this game, and even though BlysK has got the 4th mining and he's not out of it, things are not going well for the Protoss player.
Yeah, he's missing the juicy bits of his army. He's actually switching into Colossi now, trying to get a bit more splash happening. I'm not sure if he has Thermal Lance on that. Getting some more Templar in here too. At least he has managed to establish a 4th base, and oh god, just as he moves away too, Azure comes in with a siege tank this time. He's actually gonna lose most of this. Okay, gets out with the medevacs, never mind. But I do like that BlysK is making these little moves though. He's trying to pull the army back where he can. He's trying to get into these mineral lines. But at the same time, Azure is doing these chunkier pushes towards him.
Those Zealots, though, find a great angle on the tanks. These siege tanks have done nothing for Azure this game. I feel like not a single tank has really done anything. They just keep on going into bad engagements, and BlysK crushes that army with Storm Charge.
Another one into the main, though, and at the same time, a natural drop. I think, what's that, 3 medevacs? Maybe the ones that moved away from the 3rd base before will drop into the main mineral line. And BlysK is actually all the way out in the middle of the map at the moment.
He's on top of it. Yeah, he shuts it down. BlysK is actually back in this game. He just shut down a big army. He's got his own double forge. He's got the Colossus tech on the way. One Colossus is out. Jumps forward and jumps on a base. Has Azure actually managed to lose control of this game? I can't believe it. He was so far ahead in this one.
Yeah, they've been trading pretty hefty blows back and forth, though, since about 10 minutes in the game. And the storms have certainly helped BlysK out a little bit. He only has maybe 1 available to him right now. But he's forced to lift on the 3rd base. He's looking towards that 4th base a little bit as well. I'm not sure if he can find a good position because siege tanks on the high ground. But yeah, he's really done some work here to get back into it.
At the moment, there's a lot of Liberators on the way, but it is still just 1 factory. There are 2 Starports out for Azure, but no range on the Liberators. We've got the Colossus out now, adding their oomph to this army. A 5th base in the north side for BlysK. A 6th one, sorry, a 5th is already up in the south side. And this is just such a turnaround of events here for the Protoss player. He's still lacking map control, doesn't really have a lot of observers out. And does, though, look like there's going to be okay. Observer at the front does see a lot of things, including the medevacs leave, but I'm not sure if he actually spotted it.
He's slowly starting to catch up with upgrades too. He just got his +2 attack. Azure's been sitting at 3-3 for a little while. But these Stalkers are actually going to take the opportunity to try and snipe a couple of these Liberators. There's medevacs still going unspotted up towards the north side of the map. This base lifts on the left-hand side for Azure, as well as that 1 Zealot chops away at it. And finally we see a DT Shrine being dropped here in the main base. It looks like Azure might just sweep past that, though. Nice spot to drop here.
Yeah, it does avoid the High Templar in the main base. It's going to work its way over there slowly. Zealots going down as they warp in, but the Storm will start to get on top of that. Good quick pickup, though. Another Storm there.
There we go.
Feedback, actually. Nicely done. And that medevac's going to go down as well.
Maybe. It looks like it's staying alive for the moment, but another drop down here towards that 5th base. And this is one of the things I've always loved about Azure's play. He's actually really good with his drops when he gets warmed up.
Yeah,
he can
felt
be
like
in
he had to
multiple
get
places.
in trouble. It's like he got in trouble and then he just turned it up a notch, right? Like suddenly he was just doing 3 drops at a time. That was awesome.
Yeah, this is one of the things that he did when he first came onto the scene that really impressed us and helped him make a name for himself. He can drop in multiple places at once, and this is the perfect time to do it as well. When BlysK, if you look at where his 4th and 5th base are compared to where his 6th base is, but he's actually going to come in for a big push right now, using Storms to push the bio back as he punches his way into the front. And the Storms are devastating. There's a lot of Colossi left here too.
That was brutal. There's no meat left though in front of these Colossus. Is there barely enough Marauders? There's still a tank there. The Liberator's going down. A few Marines come in from the backside. Is that going to be enough? We're here down to his last couple of units. Oh man. The dregs of the Protoss army retreating, chased off by the dregs of the Terran. It's just a handful of units left on either side.
Yeah, man, Azure hangs on by the skin of his teeth there. Just, whew, that was close. But you know what, BlysK pulling some pretty big punches here. At least he saves 2 of those Colossi. He's got a 3rd one somewhere, and he's making another couple. Continuing to get those upgrades as well. And establishing that northward base that he has there, since he lost the one towards the bottom right. But yeah, he's not looking too bad. Starting to add some Archons into the mix as well, upgrading that splash potential of his army. He's been doing really well with the Storms, to be honest, and Azure's having a harder and harder time engaging that army. So I'd love to see him keep working on those drops.
Oh, DT is being added in now as well. The first one going to that planetary on the north. There's no missile turret there just yet. One just finished up in the middle of the map. This DT could do some very nice damage. Just shift clicks those SCVs. BlysK unfortunately not watching, and he gets aggroed onto the planetary fortress. Every hit is a missed opportunity. And yeah, Azure's gonna clean that up with a scan and a repair. So good job with the drops here from Azure and the Liberator on the south side. Just kind of distracting BlysK. Even gets a full High Templar. Oh.
Yeah, BlysK's got his attention in multiple places at the moment. There's the clean up DT with the help of the cannon and the -2 DPS of a High Templar. Looking to push up this ramp again, but Azure a little bit more prepared this time. That's a chunky bit of bio, but actually doesn't have a whole bunch of Liberator fields set up this time. No siege tanks, and that's a lot of splash coming in, Pig.
Oh, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it. Too much splash damage. And what a comeback! This is a game where he lost 30 probes to Banshee, Zeph. 30 probes!
Man, that's the BlysK we know and love. That's the BlysK I come here to see.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, I feel like oftentimes we see like 1 best of 3 or 2 best of 3s from BlysK in these WCSs, and it just really doesn't showcase the quality of player that he is and has been past. And I think this one is a bit more of a testament to what he can do when things start to go his way. You know, I think he's a player that suffers a little bit when there's a spanner in the works. You know, things fall apart really quick. But this is a really nice game from him and a really solid TVP from both sides. You know, a lot of back and forth there.
Yeah, this was, I mean, little things like, I was like, oh, he's throwing away a few zealots with like a pair of zealots here, a pair of zealots there. And then it was like Azure would move to respond to one and he'd blink forwards and snipe 4 Liberators and then pull back. And I was like, oh, okay. I see. Like, yeah, you know, 1 or 2 don't work out, but he's creating movement. And we saw once he got in control of that game, he was kind of pushing in on the front, pulling out while doing those backstabs. And it's kind of funny because it felt like Azure, I mean, he did have such a big lead and just got, you know, there was the big prism drop initially, which got a lot of SCVs, but then he just left his tanks in the middle of the map following that recover game that we had to hop into. And from then, he also did another push on the south of the map with just 3 tanks. So what should have been like an unstoppable 10 siege tank push turned into kind of 3 separate kind of messy skirmishes, and BlysK was able to just wrangle his way into a lead by picking apart the Terran army piece by piece. So Azure, he's definitely going to be upset about that one. He has got another shot here. Of course, it's a best of 3 here. This is the losers match. Loser is eliminated from WCS Challenger. Down here in the bottom right, in the green, it is Azure.
And in the top left, in the blue, strutting his stuff in the last game, this is BlysK. Yeah, lots of little mistakes in the last game, both on BlysK's behalf and Azure's behalf, but it made for a really cool game.
That's kind of what StarCraft's about, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's no perfect game, so it's like, what do you do with your opponent's mistakes, and like what do they do with your mistakes, right? It's like it's all about the flaws rather than the perfection.
Yeah, and this is the match we were hoping to see, I think, from these guys. You know, it's a bit hard to predict. This could have easily been the quickest 2-0 either way. But we got a really solid first game out of these guys here, and I hope the second one follows suit, because I think they're pretty evenly matched at the moment. So makes for more interesting games, to be sure. And yeah. So if you're Azure, considering the success of your opener last game, do you go for something similar that's going to come in with a bit of an early attack?
It's another good map for it. It's another small map. These players, looks like both of them kind of comfortable in the smaller maps. Maybe vetoing the newer map pool, the Thunderbird, the Acropolis, the Turbo Cruise. I like the sneaky probe hiding there after realizing there was an SCV coming across the map. Gets the Nexus down. But it is Cybercore before Nexus. So Azure says, okay, you're going to get a really fast Adept across the map. And I wonder if we're going to see a bunker on that low ground. It needs to go down very soon if he wants to opt for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always a fan of the safe play. So I'm kind of waiting for it. Like, where is it? But yeah, it looks like he might go without this time.
And it looks like that probe there. That's a lovely little, lovely little path for him. It does get through. Reaper just hanging out very defensive, and indeed the bunker will go down here. So yeah, Reaper and Marine are going to get in that bunker, and looks like Azure is just going to play it very, very safe for now. The Adept coming across, and Stargate goes down behind this. So nice openings on both sides. BlysK opting for a slight bit more aggression here. And I mean, it also keeps you safe. Going Cybercore before Nexus on a map like this, it's just the smart move as the Protoss player. Because if they go for even a slightly faster Reaper with like the barracks before the gas, it gets to your base way too quickly. So just get the Adept out early. You force a bunker, you keep yourself safe, and you're both kind of just sitting there respecting each other's space so far.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what he does with this Stargate, if he goes for an Oracle here. A few players still liking the Phoenix style. I know it's a real pain in the backside as a Terran to deal with those Phoenixes too. So not a bad idea to follow up with a couple of those if you want, and then head into your Robo and Twilight tech. But he's starting off with an Oracle here, and the Reaper of Azure is going to try and get a bit of a look-see maybe at the front. A bit dangerous as there's a Depth standing there. But he may, if the Oracle paths this way, catch a glimpse of it.
Oh, those Adepts almost baited out of position there. But the Oracle instead is going to turn around to deal with that Reaper. Reaper, of course, nice. At least now knows it's Oracle. And it is a third and fourth Widow Mine on the way. So, of course, I think a couple Widow Mines will go on defensive duty, and the other two will most likely go across the map for a Widow Mine drop. Hellion's still there, just kind of presenting a little bit of soft pressure. Viking comes out as well to help defend. And so far, yeah, definitely some nice macro-oriented openings. A third Oracle on the way as well. And a lot of Adepts, 6 Adepts coming across. Ooh!
Uh-oh. Nice.
Nice. Lovely start there for Azure, and Azure now knows about this. Oh, the wall off is up in time. He's got 2 Widow Mines and a Marine behind it. Oh, big Widow Mine hits on those Adepts. The Adepts heavily bruised here. I mean, there's only 1 Marine and 1 Viking out, so thankfully he got those hits, because otherwise he'd be in huge trouble.
Yeah, those are the Widow Mines you want out of life. Oh, he tries to snipe and he barely misses though. It's alive with barely any health at all, and he's going to heal that up, reburrow it with its buddy. And it's actually going to pick up and try and see if he can pick up some kills in the main base perhaps. He's left at a time that he should just be able to sneak by those Oracles too. So pretty good start to Azure's game here. He scouted what was going on. He's delayed the Oracles from coming into his mineral lines. He's got mines up Although that said, this main base is actually very naked. He wasn't expecting round 2. Oh, there we go. 1 goes down.
Cheeky hidden mine behind the gas geyser, of
Man,
course.
even I didn't see that.
Yeah, if I saw it
vision.
burrow there earlier, otherwise it was like completely invisible. I was like, oh, this is undefended. And I was like, wait, didn't a dude... And then I had to box it to even realize the Widow Mine was there, and I saw it hide, so... You know, no shame on BlysK not realizing that one was hidden. Oh, no, BlysK! Oh, okay. that could have gone sour.
A couple of butt clenches early on here, but 8 probes have gone down through these mines' efforts. 40 probes to 46 SCVs. Still got 3 mines on the map. I believe most of those are at home, if not all of them. And a 3rd base on the way for Azure as he starts to drop a bit of extra production.
And a single Phoenix out as well, just to kind of push back the medevac. A good choice against these, of course, protracted medevac Widow Mine drop players. The Vikings going to try to sync up with it, but 2 Stalkers and Sentry going to shut that down. And good reaction there. Does pull it back just in time. Oh, BlysK! BlysK, the main base, the Widow Mine!
Oh no, don't do it!
Oh my god, and another one. He loses the Oracle and... So for those, we didn't quite catch it on camera, but there were 6 Adepts in the mineral line, and the Phoenix rallied to the back corner just as the Widow Mine left the corner. The Widow Mine poked in, dropped the medevac did, dropped the Widow Mine on the edge of the mineral line, and the Adepts all just stood there. They were like chatting, I don't know, sharing gossip or something. The Phoenix flew right past the medevac and just sat in the corner, and we saw BlysK lose the Oracle and 6 probes, and is now looking to once again be behind, but I mean pretty badly behind as well. You've lost a lot of your map vision with those oracles all going down. You've got a bunch of adepts which aren't really useful past the early stages because you're not going for the glaives upgrade. Meanwhile, Azure once again finds himself with a big 3-base setup. Double upgrades on the way, in the lead. He's got the 3rd command center, got the worker lead, and is really just got a huge head start on the mid game.
Oh my god, these mines. Even 1 probe stings at this point because of the amount that he's lost to them already. It's been pretty awesome trades for Azure in this game. BlysK has lost a whole mineral line worth of probes. He might finally be able to pick off 1 mine. Is he that lucky?
Oh. Couple of Widow Mine
he
shots
tries to
go
take
down.
some with him.
Yeah, this is crazy, the amount of Widow Mine hits we've seen. And recall should be ready. Is there energy? Yeah, there's energy just ticked over in the main base, so does manage to recall. Unfortunately, the Phoenix does go down. Only recalled 3 Zealots and Stalker. Quick feedback and micro there on the Archon morph. But it's not enough units to deal with this. He's kind of trickling into it. Okay, those medevacs are in a bit too deep, though, and they will at least go down. So no escape for the Terran units, but a lot of high-value Protoss units do fall as well. And, I mean, just look at the mini-map. Widow Mines are still everywhere. This is still such a scary map to be on as the Protoss.
I would have loved to have seen him actually save those medevacs. I don't think those Marines were that valuable, and he did take out, you know, a fair few Protoss units on his way out. But yeah, I really love the mines just being everywhere, because look how tentative he is moving forward. He sort of moves forward, leans back, and he's still taking hits to the face. He's just got to kind of let him hit him, and that way he can clear him out. He's only got so many observers. Another adept cops it to the face over somewhere else on the map. And,
he thinks he has Psystorm, and he hasn't started it, by the way. He's got like full energy High Templar, and he has no idea that Psystorm never upgraded. He must have clicked it or pressed the upgrade when he didn't have the gas. And when this bio comes forward, you're going to see BlysK's heart sink. He might just tap out when this fight happens. Like
BlysK, don't
he's
do
going
this
to
to me.
He's going to be so upset. I've lost games like this as well. Like his whole army is based on that Storm upgrade.
Oh god, I just assumed he had it. Like he looked so ready for this push. Maybe, he just realized it starts and he moves out.
Thankfully, it was a poke when he tried to storm. If he didn't poke in there and try to storm, he wouldn't have realized till the big fight happened. So at least now he can run home, but definitely a missed opportunity. It looked like he wanted to do some form of timing attack there. Depth's going to shade in, and as always, there's a Widow Mine waiting. Oh my lord, this is... Everywhere!
Oh my God. Don't run over
Cyber
another one,
forest.
please.
Forest of Protoss nightmares right here. It's my
no.
no!
No, don't do it. Okay. Oh, just barely. Dude, I'm so stressed for all these Protoss units right now.
This is the worst feeling as BlysK right now. It's just everywhere is the wrong place to be. A drop here is going to get shut down. If Storm was ready, but Storm's not ready, so it can't get Storm, can it? Zealots have to warp in at the same time. This is distracted for the double drop in the main. And
he's going to get that.
+2 armor. Goodbye. Oh, that's so much damage going down.
Man, Azure's playing such a cool game here. Mines everywhere, keeping up the drop play where he can. And BlysK is having a rough time. Now, especially after the last game, I'm not going to be like, oh, BlysK has definitely lost this game. It's not looking great for him. He's having a real rough one. But yeah, I mean, look at Azure just turn up the heat here, keep up with the drop play, still picking up workers. There's still mines all over the place, by the way. Oh, this could be a good pick-off for BlysK.
Yeah, he needs a few more of those. Remember, this is the point where the game kind of like, in the last one, it looked amazing for Azure, and then, you know, one missed fight and everything turned around. There's 18 Widow Mines out, no drilling claws for them. And a bio army on the south, it looks kind of incomplete right now. It looks like an amazing backstab, though, and I guess with Widow Mines everywhere, I think backstabbing is what you want to do against this Protoss army. I mean, the Protoss can't engage into you, so just, yeah, run in, and, oh, Azure's not watching his army there. He's going to borrow those Widow Mines. Could have got that Nexus.
He's still going to try for it, but the Protoss army is coming up here now.
Yeah, now it's real dangerous. There's only 2 medevacs, so this is like a one-way trip, 100%. I don't think it's the worst trade. He's got the bigger economy, so you know what? I can get behind that. 15 probes, taking out a bunch of Zealots and Stalkers, that's actually completely fine for Azure.
Yeah.
As long as he's not throwing away, you know, the important units, the medevacs and the Widow Mines, the rest of the Marauders that are building up back at home. He can just keep doing these sort of backstabs, keep expanding across the map, and I mean, BlysK has a lot of bases, though. So, like, you just can't take your foot off the pedal. If you're going to play that style, this is still a really basic composition. And if there's one thing I want to be critical of about Azure's style is that he doesn't really advance his composition. Like, he keeps getting upgrades, but he stays on just bio for a really, really long time. Like, where are the ghosts or the range liberators or the big tank count? Where's the drilling claws?
Yeah.
It's basically just bio. So that's a fine style to play, but you've got to stay in the Protoss' face. You can't give him time to get enough Colossus Storm out.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of it. I mean, up towards the north, he's going to take out another Nexus here, peel off some units, head towards that third Nexus. He's still got a few forces at home. It's a little bit difficult to do with this Protoss army right now, but hopefully he can clean that up, and then all this damage will be worth it. He's cleaned out the third base completely. 16 more probes going down so far, and now he's marching into the natural. Does BlysK have a recall or anything? Like, I don't think he can run home right now. It's just too slow.
He can recall to the main, but he's already lost the natural right now. 35 workers. The Widow Mine's cleaned up so many of the units as well. So he's starting to work his way back here, but so much has gone down. And yeah, BlysK is in trouble. The main base getting ransacked as well. Azure could pick up and leave if he wanted to, but now that the Stalkers are here, it does get a little bit more risky. The High Templar, though, lagging behind, just taking so long to get back to this main base. BlysK is going to lead with the High Templar. He wants the perfect engagement, but Azure sieges the live on the ramp. Just focusing down these units as they come up. Uh-oh, he's going to try to get out of there. Nice Storm. But Blink not able to be used because the Blink was used to reposition to the high ground. So good escape by Azure.
Yeah, I think if he had have been able to kill that whole Terran army, there might have been a chance here. But as it stands, Azure just hopped back onto 4 bases. He's got over double the army supply. He's basically maxed out. You know, he's got money to burn. And unfortunately, you know, BlysK is back to trying to clean up minefields. And he's got, what, 13 workers? Oh, God.
Yeah. This is just nicely done by Azure after, you know, an upsetting loss in game 1, because that's what it was. It was an upsetting loss for Azure. He had a big lead and he let it slip away. But this time, like, no way. Just in control the whole time, just kind of dictating the pace. As I say, that quite a few medevacs go down. but that's because he's microing the gigantic army in the southern side. So, yeah, Azure's just been dictating the pace of this game. Shuts down the probes in the last base.
That's all of the probes too. He has literally 0 workers. And yeah, he's holding on here, but there's not much left. Not many opportunities for BlysK to win this game. Can't really blame him for sticking it out here. This is an elimination match, and he was so close to maybe getting a 2-0. You always want that clean win, but it looks like Azure's going to even it up here.
Yep, the little drippy drops, just making sure there is indeed 0 economy. And right now, quick unit tab, we have 11 Stalkers, 2 Immortals, 2 Zealots, an Archon, and 5 High Templar with a Dream up against 20 Marauders, 60 Marines, Liberators, Widow Mines, and a single Ghost. EMP lands right in the center, and Azure not even trying to spread. He stutter steps through the storm onto the remaining Protoss forces, shuts them down, and ties up the series 1-1 apiece.
GG. Man, these have been some good games. They're good fun. I loved the mine from Azure in that game. That was just so awesome. And poor BlysK at the worst time ever. He lost Oracles, Adept, Templar, everything. One of everything, I swear. Everything but a Colossus. He lost to those damn mines. But yeah, that was a really cool way to play. Love the drop play from Azure there as well. That really gave him good control of that game. But I do wonder if it could have looked different if BlysK didn't forget that Storm. Man, he had so much energy when he came for that push.
Yeah, I was so sad as well because he remembered Storm and then a Ghost started at the same time, and Azure was landing his 4th base. It was yeah, this could have been useful because it was a surprisingly quick storm, but just was not able to find the mark on that one. So unfortunate for BlysK in that game, lost control from that point onwards, and that is a thing which can really throw you off once you realize the entire most important part of your army is super important. So yeah, just good play there from Azure though. Ties it up. It is going to be Kairos Junction. So yeah, really not the biggest maps. In fact, it's the 3 smallest maps for this series, which means both players have taken the larger maps out of the pool. So far, the openings have been favoring the Terran. Let's see what BlysK has in store for Game 3.
Alrighty, on Kairos Junction. In the bottom right, he is the green Terran known as Azure.
And up here in the top left-hand side, in the blue, it is BlysK. And BlysK going to be opening up with a Pylon Scout. Going to go pressure with that probe, trying to do a bit of harassment. Will be walling off his Reaper jump-in location with the Pylon and the Gateway to get on top of that. And Azure on the other side of things, looks like he's going to be opening up with that Barracks Gas and that early SCV Scout. We see that Azure here really doesn't want to take any chances with proxy gateways or anything like that. I fully expect to see an SCV go across that map right now after, potentially after pushing that probe back. Yep. All right. Nice bit of pressure, but I wonder if BlysK goes Cybercore before going for the Nexus again. It's a pretty small map, so I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to open up with a quick Adept again.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty standard opening. Get a bit of a poke, bit of a scout. Not too bad against those early units from the Terran as well, but see what he opts for here as the SCV comes into scout, just confirming the Protoss structures are where they should be. Always good to do.
Yeah, because he's got the checklist. All right, gateway is in the base. Yes. 2 gases are down. Yes. Second pylon. Okay. Cybercore. Yep. Cool. This is a normal Protoss build. It would be kind of cool against this to drop an eBay block or something, since the Nexus is already delayed and delay it even more, but that kind of messes your own build up as well. So you've really got to have that sort of branch mapped out very well to make it worthwhile. But yeah, similar sort of openings here for both players. Adept being chrono boosted, Nexus goes down, and it is the reactor first. So same as game number 1. And remember, that evolved into 6 Marines and 4 Hellions hitting the front. up against a BlysK opening. This time around, though, if we do see that, it'll be facing a Stargate opening, most likely into 2 or 3 oracles like that previous game.
Yeah, and 8 units are pretty good when you don't have all that much that shoots up. But I'm hoping for a bit of a better opener from BlysK this time. You know, last time his oracle, his first one, actually had to turn around and deal with units in his base. I think it was the Reaper that got in there, so he sort of turned around to deal with that, and then, you know, the jig was up. And it was actually a while before he even got to come into the mineral line, because there were mines everywhere, you know, sort of distracting him, poking at him, and then he still lost one of the oracles to the hidden mine behind the gas. So he kind of got thwarted at every turn in that one. I think if he got a bit of a cleaner opening off and actually managed to get some damage, he might have a bit of an easier time in that mid-game executing the plan that he comes in with, because that's very much BlysK play style. He has a plan, and when that plan doesn't work out, that's when we see him start to make a few more mistakes.
Widowmine is going to be coming out here, and it's just a defensive setup with the Marine production so far for Azure, and BlysK here kind of just chilling with the oracles as well. So both players very respectful of each other's intentions and kind of just trying to play the safer side of things. Of course, BlysK not opting for a super quick third. And yeah, it looks like both sides going to kind of turtle up a little bit. Now, in the previous games, it's kind of felt like BlysK kind of went across and was like, hey, I want to do something, whether with Blink Stalkers or a few Oracles and Adepts. I mean, it looks like the exact same build. Do we see the 3 Adepts warp in? It's on 4. Gateways are warping. If we see a few more Adepts, we may see that exact same assault from the previous game. And there we go, Adepts warping in. No wall-off this time. Remember, Azure's wall-off is what saved him against that last time, so he'd love to get wind of this.
Yeah. From build, Cyclone's upgrading. And, yeah. I like the look of this. You know, this is gearing up to be a bit more successful this time round. And he does start to move out across the map. 3 Oracles, several Adepts. This is actually so much firepower when you put it all together. I think he just caught wind of that mine and popped out of the way.
Yep, just going to shade right past. This time that mine not going to get a big hit. And those Marines looking very exposed. The Cyclone disappears. It literally just disappears to those Oracles. Nice focus fire here with the Oracles in depth, trying to take down the SCVs. BlysK does want to get a bit more damage than this. The Oracle's going to go in the main base. The Adepts still running around the natural, causing trouble. But all the air units have been shut down for BlysK. The Vikings doing a very good job there.
I mean, I may be speaking too soon here, but I had high hopes for this. You know, 3 Oracles and that many Adepts, and only 6 SCV kills.
Yeah. I mean, getting the Cyclone and a bunch of Marines is not bad, but yeah, you don't want to lose these Adepts. I think if you save those, that's okay. There's a lot of lost mining time in there as well. The problem is there's no third base for BlysK, right? I guess when you look at the big picture of like, hey, what have you got behind this? That's kind of problematic. Blink is starting up. Yeah, this is an awkward army right now. Blink, a ton of gateways are going down though, so if you attack into this, that might be the wrong decision there as Azure.
Yeah, he might be looking to deny the third. But yeah, like these gateways are going to finish up just as he arrives at that third base, and he can get a few more warp-ins in. He's not in position though. He may very well be able to get the cancel in here. In fact, I don't think he can stop that from happening.
Yeah.
But,
that's a rough anti-Stargate push. Like Phoenix and Oracles, you don't go anywhere near that. So, I mean, all the Oracles happen to be already gone down, but a couple of unupgraded Adapts. Blink not quite done. The Stalker's not quite ready. As BlysK, I'd like to see him just go and take the other third base. Or looks like he's going to try and retake it on the same location.
Nice timing. Oh, BlysK, man. It's yeah, he wants that third base. His tech isn't amazing just yet. As you pointed out, you know, he was just starting Blink after that attack. He's only just now getting a Robo. +1 hasn't quite kicked in yet. And Azure may be just about to outstay his welcome here, but he's just trying to pick off a little bit more of that Protoss army before he gives up that position. And at home, his own third base is well and truly underway at this point.
BlysK kicking in. He's going to try and hunt him down as BlysK. BlysK realizes that he should not be letting these units get home. He took so much damage by having his third delayed. Yes, nice ambitious blink forward, and it was the correct choice. He's got to watch out for that tank and those magfield cyclones, though. Those have some real anti-stalker, anti-armored punching power.
BlysK looking for maybe an extra base or a pathway to blink in as he gets the hallucination here, but Azure's already so organized.
You don't want to... Oh, God. Uh-oh. Cyclones with Magfield just shut down 2 Stalkers, landed Vikings, Marines coming forward, and a lot of Stalkers do fall there. A good trade for the Terran player, Azure, who's standing strong once more. It feels like consistently getting ahead off the opening build orders. BlysK is trying to warp in Zealots here. Charge only now starting. The third base only now starting up behind this. And BlysK, he's roaming around and he's looking to find something, but with the tank on the high ground, I don't think he can get any damage done.
No. And, yeah, he's having a hard time keeping on top of the Terran army here. These sentries getting left behind for a sec. The Stalkers are forced to turn around.
Ooh, good focus fire just as they picked up the units. So a hot pickup turned into a terrible pickup. Good focus fire by BlysK.
Really? He's not gonna... Okay. That one little mine's doing a lot of work. He actually gets some Zealots in the main, though, so that's pretty good. It doesn't get a lot of workers, but it does, again, force some lost mining time. And he has managed to kill off 4 of those workers so far. Forces another lift on the third base as Azure not quite in position to defend that spot. So I think all in all, what BlysK has done is a good job of keeping Azure from actually landing and mining from that third so far. He's also tried to sort of soft contain him in his base. Of course, there's a little bit too much Terran to keep doing that now. But yeah, his own third base back at home is finally up and mining. He's finally cleared out that Widow mine, and he's got Storm halfway done.
Yeah, that Storm is definitely, that's the Hail Mary, the comeback move, but oh no, the Stalker's not watching. 2 of them do get stimmed down in the middle of the map. A third one's going to go down as well. And suddenly that Stalker pack, which was quite menacing before, down to just 8. And that also takes away a lot of your ability to jump on things like Doom drops, counterattacks, all that sort of stuff. So luckily, BlysK does still have an Adept on the right and a Warp Prism on the bottom side. But look at that, turrets and Vikings. How did Azure lose that first map? It was Warp Prism drops, and this time he has a Viking on either edge of the map, missile turrets on top of that. There is no way he's going to get caught out by Warp Prisms this time.
There's that one cheeky Adept causing a distraction in that Widowmine. Mineral line. Widowmine's going up on the front lines here, though. That's
you gotta get out of there,
really
BlysK. This is a wild attack from BlysK. His Warp Prism just got crushed on the south side of the map by going into the missile turrets at the same time. He's got to get out of there right now. That was a really good hold by Azure. Crushes the Protoss army.
Yeah, BlysK lost a lot of money units there, actually. Archon, Templar, Sentries. Again, he gets another Zealot in the main base, so nice little move here by BlysK, but Azure has a pretty decent army supply. There's only 1 Templar and 1 Archon out for BlysK at the moment too, so Azure's actually going to try his luck with a push, at the same time dropping some Widow Mines in here, and this could actually be really good. He's not really moving out of the way in time. Oh, 11 probes going down there.
Yeah, that's a big amount of damage, and once again BlysK finds himself just down on the supply and needing just incredible storms to get back in this game. Going up against a 4-base Terran player. And the blink comes forward, does get one medevac. A Phoenix is there as well. But I don't think he's going to be able to stop those medevacs completely. I mean, actually, I guess, yeah, Stalker's warping in the main. Those drops are kind of trapped right now.
Yeah, I mean, if Azure AFKs them like that.
The Phoenix just flew away, though. It's on the control group. Get back over there, Phoenix.
Yeah, they're both looking at lots of different spots at once. Yeah, I think these medevacs are dead, so that's actually a nice pickup for BlysK, and evens out the army supply a lot, takes a lot of pressure off him. And Azure's had to back right up to that 4th base that he's taken there. And he's starting to add in some Liberators now at home as well, so a little bit quicker moving on into some extra tech than the last couple of games. Still trying with a drop play here, but he is finally going to have those cleaned up.
Did snap the Warp Prism though, so that was nice. I feel like the Warp Prism is like the Kevlar vest for the High Templar, you know? At this point, you're banking on Storm, and you really need to protect some of those from EMP, from bio sniping them. You want to give them a bit more flexibility, and with the Warp Prism gone, those High Templar don't have that angle. Now, I like BlysK going out on the map. I just don't want him to commit into that army. That's where he's had really bad fights consistently. Poking in, poking out, doing backstabs is good, but Widow Mines are there on both sides. A nice little hit to start things off on some of those Zealots. BlysK is going to try to jump on top of this. He's on 2-1 upgrades against 1-1, so his upgrades actually aren't too bad this game.
Oh, hard to engage into that. Some tricky spots here for BlysK as well, as there's still a couple of active mines around that base, but he's going to try his luck at the third base instead. Liberator's not quite in position to stop him from moving forward here, so he's just going to have to evacuate, lift that base once again. I like how he left those 2 Templar behind as well to try and zone out that Terran army from swooping in and sort of
that's a
cornering
planetary.
in there.
Don't go in there. That's a planetary. Oh, big EMPs on every single High Templar, Zev. BlysK, get out of there. Run home. Those Archons all going down. At least they buy a few seconds for the other units to retreat. There's 9 more High Templar that have been warped in behind this. His emergency High Templar that were on drop defense duty have all been pulled into the army, are realizing that he's just lost all of his splash. BlysK is on 4 bases, but that's not a real 4-base economy. This is a really weak 4-base Protoss. It's 53 probes. He's going up to 2 Robo Colossus transition. That'll give him a bit more sustained AoE damage. But Azure starting to branch out into the backstabs. Liberators coming in from multiple angles.
Yeah. He's looking to re-solidify that force there. A drop of Azure comes over to deal with those couple of Zealots that took out a mine up here, and we're probably looking to have a bit of a run into the mineral line later on. BlysK sending a force down towards the bottom left, coming from a different angle this time towards that third base. And that is a lot of Zealots coming in there.
Oh, yeah.
Chop up those SCVs. He should be able to get at least a couple of kills here. But of course the command center just lifts and gives Azure time to get back here and flush that out. That's a good force of Zealots, so if you can like split that up and sort of run that in different spots, maybe get the Warp Prism back in action, that could be a way back into a better spot for BlysK.
Yeah, and Azure here kind of is a very, very turtly and methodical player because he just wants to build this advantage. And it's around this point where he starts to get a lot more active on the map. And I think he needs to, right? Because he's got the big army advantage. Now's the time to use it. Every second that goes by, more and more Colossus are joining the field. 2 are out. A third one's about to pop. Extended Thermal Lance is almost ready. And BlysK here, I mean, his economy has been rebuilt back to 53 probes after the last ones that went down. Another Liberator coming in here on the top side of the map. And any more economic damage, it's making things tough for BlysK. BlysK on the plus side, because his probe count solo has a gigantic army, Liberator's going to hit at the same time as BlysK runs in with the Zealots on the south. They're going to pull back. Stalker's trying to deal with this, but the probe's not pulling out of range. BlysK taking so much damage to this Liberator. Oh, EMPs!
Oh, my goodness. Those were some golden EMPs. That one Colossus goes down.
Oh, big storm drops coming down.
Oh, pretty big blows on both sides. That's a lot of Terran damage still coming out, though, with the small Colossus count, i.e. 1. That's really not going to cut it. And while these bio units are really bruised there, there's a good number of Marauders there, so he does have to keep running back towards that base. This is time for the Zealots to shine, though. They're going to come in here. Hopefully he can take out that siege tank and spread out into the mineral lines. He's actually going to be able to chop up some of those reinforcements as well. So maybe a small win for BlysK there, but Azure also going to be able to take out that northward base.
Yeah, and that's the last healthy one of BlysK. BlysK down to just 30 probes right now, coming forward. Of course, the Stalker's going to come forward. Some nice storms going down on the little last few bio units. A couple of the Marauders do get saved, but a lot of Ghosts falling at the same time. Both sides very low down on army after these couple of exchanges. That was a lot of low hit point bio. The medevac goes down as well. Azure's floated down a 5th base. He's got to start dropping mules on these bases, and he's got to rebuild that somehow. I don't know how BlysK makes this so close. It feels like he's so behind all game long, but he just finds these angles. He gets in, he lands some nice storms. His zealot backstabs have been the undoing of Azure time and again. And even though I think Azure's got the lead here, it's once again a nasty position where it could go either way.
Yeah, his storms have been pretty good. We've rarely seen BlysK throw a really bad storm in this series so far. So I think that's been a difference maker. Also, these zealots running in. He has been able to pick off workers here and there. He has forced bases to lift multiple times. And that's really what's kept him in it. At the end of the day, these little bits and pieces start to add up pretty bad for Azure. And then when they have these scrappy big engagements, you know, anything can happen. So might be in for another one momentarily here as they sort of face off. Disruptors now in the mix as well.
Oh. Yeah, speaking of anything can happen, I mean, the Disruptors, right? Like you said, when it comes down to the actual scrap, you got Storm, Colossus, Disruptors. Like, this is the army that can make it happen, but it's all splash focused, so you don't want to go too deep. Does throw both Disruptor shots at once. He's still got a lot of Storm in there. Oh, gosh, that's just pure bio. I mean, oh, no, the Liberators aren't quite ready. There's no Widowmine spread this time. There's no bunkers to fall back on. Azure's army is so fragile against this splash.
There's 3 supposed to come out, but one's going to be right in the thick of the Protoss army when it finishes up. And he's just buying time here. One gets taken out immediately. I'm not sure where the others are. He's got a sort of drop happening up over in BlysK territory, but there's still a good couple of storms left. He's got nowhere to micro to now, actually. So he's going to be forced into this.
And he's finally going to jump forward. He is going to go in, but oh my lord, the storms are big. Is it enough, though? I don't think so. Azure's patience pays off, and he's barely going to manage to get on top of that. The last few units, at the same time, the Marines take out the last mining base of BlysK. He's got just a few minerals left on his natural, lots of workers going down, and Azure hanging on by the skin of his teeth in this series.
This game is ridiculous, man. This has been an awesome series so far. So back and forth. And we're at 1-1. You know, it's tooth and nail from here on out. And unfortunately, BlysK has got the short end of the stick here. He's only got 14 workers and not really any from his army supply is way down. And BlysK just hasn't been able to find ways to stabilize like Azure has. I think Azure's engagements have been slightly better. You know, those EMPs, being able to take out some key units, which BlysK just cannot afford to replace at this point in the game. So when he comes with what's left of his army, trying to get something done here, but Azure has so much.
Couple of big storms and a G.